because we have all seen Terminator. And
We are a long way from that actually. So
I'm
there is
sorry,
a
we are a long way from that. That means, are we on that path? Like, it's kind of scary.
we are seeing live examples when they are not ready to accept our commands. It's happening. We are seeing that. We have to manually turn off that sandbox in which they are operating. You can't imagine the kind of innovation that comes from rural cities to us. We call it hub and spoke model. We opened a small T-Works where rural innovators can come and experiment. I've realized that I do not know a lot, and there's still a lot of things that I have to learn. The journey has been tough, I would say, because there were a lot of failures. And I will not sit back and say, no, no, ye hota hai. No, it could have been avoided.
Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Pine Talks, where we empower futures by guiding values and inspiring knowledge. Our today's guest is Sahaj Sandhu, who is a multidisciplinary strategist in product development, engineering, and he has completed degrees from MIT University and Dumont TU Dortmund University. I'm so sorry I could not say that name right. I wanted to say it right. So
No.
before I make any more pronunciation errors, I'll hand the baton to Mr. Sandhu. Mr. Sandhu, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
for
you.
this podcast. I'm sure the kind of description I have for you,
Mhm.
what I have read on your LinkedIn profile and
Mhm.
about you, that is not going to justify what you have achieved in your life. So can you give us a small introduction about yourself?
Thanks, Pratik. First of all, I mean, it's not a very vast. I'm still vast experience. I'm still learning. But what I can say that I started my life as a mechanical engineer. I studied in MIT University from 2005 2009. After that, I worked in a garage for
Hmm.
2 years, where my counterparts were working in big companies. But I started working on building limousines in Delhi. Actually, that was my passion. So working on cars. After that, I went to Germany for robotics. I studied robotics for about 1.5 years, and then I chose a specialization in biomechanics, where I was studying exoskeletons and how your body responds to electrical simulations and all.
Hmm.
After that, I jumped into, so I worked there for some time. Then I found a co-founder and we started a company back in Germany, which was a bilateral platform between India and Germany for technology transfer. But we were young. We were like young entrepreneurs, big egos. We couldn't survive like even the first year. So that company shut down. It was funded by a university also.
Hmm.
But when came back to India and started Standglass Innovation Lab, which was a lab dedicated to sustainable development goals, and I was working on a platform to make IoT and AI analytics and comparing it with revenue models and building revenue models for social impact projects. So I ran that about for 6 years.
Hmm.
Under that, I came up with I is the wrong word. So I had a team of about 23 people across 7 states in India. We developed about team went up to 30 people, and it was I can say that out of those 22 23 projects which we converted to startups, four went to the market, and I was successfully able to exit from one startup from there. And it is not a very high striking rate, but for
Hmm.
me who does not belong to a business background, nobody in the family was there in business before, it was a new journey for me. I was learning a lot, and for 6 years is a big time.
Hmm.
That and it was all very ups and downs were there in that particular business sector. But now I'm at a place where I'm able to guide a lot of founders with where they can have a better impact on the society and also sustain themselves. Because as social entrepreneurs, social impact entrepreneurs, most of the people forget about that they have to sustain themselves also. So now I'm at a good place. I am right now Associate Vice President at T-Works, which is India's largest manufacturing center. I'm very happy here
Hmm.
because the team that I have are full of passionate people. We go out of a line to deliver products. We work with like the products that you can't imagine the kind of innovation that comes from rural cities to us.
Hmm.
We and to even to cater to that, we are even going to rural cities. We are even going. So we recently opened a We call it hub and spoke model. So we are the hub, and our spokes in Mantini, which is about 3 hours from here from Hyderabad. We opened a small tea works where rural innovators can come and experiment. And if we find something which is very important there, which can actually transform the life of many people, we bring it to the hub, and
Mm-hmm.
there it can be developed into full-fledged product. So I'm pretty happy where I am after all the struggles. Yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful initiative that you were talking about the rural development
Mhm.
and the hub model that you just mentioned. So, what does it take for someone to be at your hub to present an idea or present a product?
It's very simple, actually. I mean, people look at it like a Taj Mahal and you can't go in, but it's not like
Mm-hmm.
that. We are a government company. It's a mini PSU, and anybody can just walk in. But we request people because some of the clients just come in. So we had a client few days back coming from Odisha and didn't inform that he was coming in, and
Okay.
I was not present. Somebody from my team met them, understood the problem. So we request the people that were coming in just write us a mail,
Mm-hmm.
and then we fix some timings for them, and we make sure that we are there to help them out. So that is, I mean, you can just walk in, write a mail to us. We recently won an award from Economic Times
Mm-hmm.
for remotely delivering products, that to hardware products. And it was, we just delivered, I think, more than 1,800 products in 1 year without people even visiting our facility.
So, what was that about exactly?
So we have developed a system where innovate. So let's say, and see, India is a very vast country, right? And the entrepreneurs, the innovators could be from any part of the country, and
Mm-hmm.
it does not have to belong to tier one city. They could be tier two city, tier three city, and they traveling time for them, the cost of traveling and the accommodation here and the living expenses in this kind of cities for a long period of time could be very heavy on their pockets.
Right.
So we have developed the system that you can work with us on virtually, work with us either on mentorship on how to develop the product, or if you have certain digital files ready, we can develop the product here and just ship it back to you. So that is good for startups, but also we have done it for industries which
Okay.
are outside Hyderabad, outside Telangana. So we only T-Works does not only work with startups, we work with corporates, national, international, MSMEs, even defense. Some projects we are working on.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a good team of over 100 people. Out of that, about 75 are engineers. I myself am a robotics engineer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty happy about that. That I'm at a place where I am also can contributing into management also on the technical side.
So,
So
talking about your life journey, you
yeah,
mentioned that you did your mechanical,
yeah.
and then you went to Germany, you did your robotics,
Yeah,
and then you got into biomechanics.
yeah,
So, how did this happen? Why mechanical in the first place?
yeah. So I remember in 10th standard when my exams were over, my granddad had a kinetic scooty.
Mm-hmm.
I love to ride that. So and I just like my exams were over. I was very relaxed. I was like enjoying myself. So one day I just opened it up in the street, right? That I want to see what's inside, and it was
Mm-hmm.
very dirty inside. So I
Mm-hmm.
started cleaning, took everything apart and all. So somehow I felt, yes, I liked see, liking cars, driving fast, liking bikes. I mean, it's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
But do you really want to fix them? So that day I decided that I really like to work with these engines. I was not a computer geek, honestly. I didn't want to sit in the front of computer. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why. But that led me to get into mechanics, so basically engines very much I was into,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the opportunity I got at my first job. It was like another workshop in Delhi. I can't call it another workshop because I actually got a Hummer there and also a Mercedes E-Class, and I mean we were doing some crazy stuff there. Even replaced a car which had a 5000 cc engine with a 7000 cc engine.
Wow.
We had to open it, overhaul it. So I was really enjoying it. And my classmates were earning three times that I was earning, but I was like, I so you have a convocation. So and on that convocation, I went in a Hummer limo. So
Wow.
these guys who were working Mercedes Benz, they had their jaw dropped. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty fine what I'm doing. So that was a journey that I enjoyed. But what I was seeing that um, there is a I wanted to develop something always, and there was a knowledge gap.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I was just out of college working directly on the cars and engines, but I had to learn a lot more. So I mechanical, I knew, okay, I understand these things. What I didn't know was how automation works, how
Right.
this interface between the computer and the mechanicals thing was, how make mechatronics, how to take it to the next level. So that's where I chose robotics,
Mm-hmm.
and I started learning it. And my course was mostly TU Dortmund is a very good university, and it was mostly dedicated to industrial robotics. So I kind of lost interest because I didn't want to develop industrial robots.
Mhm.
So I picked up my so I had changed my thesis 3 or 4 times and came to conclusion that I want to work on um, how the human body works,
Mhm.
how we can collect data, how we can that also has a different story actually. So I now I'm like 100 plus kgs, but that time I was actually very good at boxing. I got injured a lot. So I wanted to understand why it's happening. And
Mhm.
I had the power of data, right? With robotics, I understood data is something I can actually leverage. So not first, but my second startup was around an athletic sports solution. So I started building so those sensors, not building sensor, but using those sensors to understand that how my body is enhancing or working out, or how my muscles are contributing when I'm on the field.
Mhm.
So that was for finally that was the thing that I wanted to continue, and I continued for a very long time, developed few algorithms around it, and also made a startup out of it. So that's how my journey was. But again, I was not ready to work for a company, which I'm doing now somehow, because I think I've learned a few lessons, and that's why I started my first startup. So yeah, it's a bit here and there all over the place, but yeah,
No, I completely understand that because
yeah.
I think at that time following your passion was also equally important.
Following my passion was actually following my passion, like
Mm.
nothing else was there. And you could see, I mean, my friends were, you feel a little bad, I will not lie, that okay, your friend got placed a very good package and you're still into
Mhm.
experimentation mode. But when I just got down to building stuff, that feeling never came to me again. So I think I liked it more. But now it has a more sense to it. Now it has a structure to it, that how you can make it better. And when I came back to India, back in 2015, 2016, so
Mhm.
startup investment, so this Startup India was just starting up. So I was very fascinated by it. I thought, okay, maybe there's something for me back home.
Mhm.
And I started my first company when I came back to India. But at that time, it was just starting up. Okay, it took me 2 years to build my first exoskeleton in India.
Okay.
The problem was that, so now I'm at a facility where in 3 months you can come up with the problem statements, you get a product, you test it in the market. If it fails, you reiterate and you rework on it. It took me 2 years to finish the product in that time. So
Okay.
I had to travel all across India. I mean, 3D printers for sensors to get some guidance. I remember once I traveled to Coimbatore just to talk to a person who was working in the similar field. He was
Okay.
not replying to mail. I just traveled. Kid, I'll sit outside his office and we'll talk to him.
सीधा घर
I
पे पहुंच
succeeded.
गए.
I succeeded in that, and he gave me some good inputs. I developed the product. I tested it in the market. It didn't work
Okay.
because what I realized that Indian insurance company doesn't cover the rehabilitation cost, which I was aiming for through my upper limb exoskeletons,
Mhm.
and that was like a blow to me. That okay, I am missing out on something. But what was happening in that time when I was hustling in those 2 years, I started Sandglass Innovation Lab. So the
Mhm.
history of that lab is that, I mean, when I started working on this, I was like a individual as an individual, but I started reaching out to some people on LinkedIn or forums, and then
Mhm.
a lot of projects just started simultaneously. And this movement of investments was pretty new in India at that time. Government grants were opening up, so everybody wanted to get a taste of it.
Mhm.
And some were serious, some were not serious, but anyhow, I was in the mode that yes, this is something what I want to do.
Mhm.
And that somehow was all the projects that I was picking. One thing was, there was a filter that it has to be a social impact project. So that was there. And a lot of problems arise when you look into that sector. No, you don't get a lot of
True.
investments, first of all. Not a lot of people want to work in social impact also. That is also there. And if you're working in hardware, it's much more expensive to build a prototype, right? So
Right.
those things create hurdles. But I mean, now I thank God, now the network is pretty good, that people can not only here in Hyderabad but anywhere in India, you can access a prototyping lab, maker spaces, and then you can actually build a product and see whether it's going to work or not. So yeah, it's better now, I believe.
I think technology has a very strong role to play in all
Yeah.
of this because I think, as far as I remember, 2015 was a time when we were introduced to VR.
Okay.
virtual
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
And I think after that, augmented reality took over, and the designing went to a different stage completely.
Yeah.
The 3D designing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that it has a very strong role in to
Sorry.
play in 3D printing
Mm-hmm.
and the prototyping that we see these
Yeah.
days. So uh, when it comes to robotics, till
Mm-hmm.
robotics was fine. So biomechanics, what exactly is the course? Because I've
So
heard
there
of
is no
bio in
course actually for
okay.
that. So I didn't enroll in a course. I just picked up some books
Hmm.
as good engineers do. So that, and this was an advice given to my mama in like 10th standard when I was confused of whether should I pick up science or commerce,
Hmm.
because I was scoring better in commerce somehow, I don't know.
Hmm.
And so he told me that if you pick up science, the one thing is for sure that you get habituated to work hard and you get habituated to think harder and think in
True.
different ways. So that was like 10th standard. He gave me that advice. I followed it. And I'm not intimidated by new knowledge. So I
Hmm.
can pick up books. Now you have a lot of information available. If you really want to learn something, you can learn something. So it was a self learning thing. Did pretty well in that actually. I mean, if I could launch a startup out of
Hmm.
it, so that means I am satisfied that I learned on the tech side. Management side, I learned very much late, lot later, that the business side of things. That was not very clear to me initially. So, I mean, you can just get down to some research papers, then research paper leads to some books, those books leads to some videos, that videos lead to some
Hmm.
professors. You have to all do all this. I mean, that's the way it is.
So how was your experience with your first startup? What was that about
Wow.
exactly?
It was excruciating because, see, I had one thought in mind
Hmm.
that this is how it works. This is not the startup, but this is how your life is. I mean, you put in the time, and at the end of the day you get rewarded. I mean, you have to work hard, keep working hard, navigating this whatever you have learned, like in a euphoric, in a very happy ending movie. It's not
Hmm.
like that. Sometimes things don't even work when you have tried everything, even it doesn't work. So first startup, which took me 2 years, it was also, see, you also have to understand that I mean, not understand, but
Factor in the
factor in that I came back from Germany, and for
Mhm.
2 years I was just doing like small consulting works, and whatever the money I got, I was used to put in my startup. So
Mhm.
I didn't have a financial stability, right? And that was pretty bad for me. And at that time, I know my friend, my family member, my cousins were like, even till date, do go out and ask me. They come up to me and ask me things, and if I'm not doing well, it's not reflecting good on them,
Mhm.
right? So it's not a peer pressure kind of thing, or not a responsibility, but it's something that as a as a elder brother, if somewhere a younger brother comes to you or younger sister comes to you, you should be able to answer it, I believe. But if you are also struggling and they're seeing you struggling, they also get in doubt, are we doing things right?
Mhm.
So that was more excruciating than the startup itself. But it was a failure, I told you. I mean, I built it, went to the market, didn't work, and I was like, shit, that thing has gone to hell. But good part was that out of that startup, I just then divided into two steps. One was, so that was an active exoskeleton. I divided
Mhm.
into a passive exoskeleton, and my second startup, which came to be Athletes Pad Solutions. So Athletes Pad Solutions, my co-founder for that is currently right now heading Google South Asia home automation team.
Wow.
Pretty amazing guy. We are still friends. His
Mhm.
only thing is that I only want to work in sports. If you have a sports idea, I'm ready to quit my job and work with you.
Mhm.
Not anything else. So we worked on the product, and this that I could actually quantify how muscles are talking to each other. When you are going to have an injury, we could quantify that point.
Okay.
We went to the market with it, and still again we were not good at raising funds. At one point of time, I was offered like 10 lakhs or 40% of the company. I was
Mhm.
like, no, this is not right. But sometimes I think, okay, I should have taken that money because we both were out of money. He
Mhm.
also had a family to support. He was still working at that time at Google only. But he said, I'll quit if we can secure some funding. But that was not also a good option. And we didn't take it well. We didn't perform well in that. We couldn't come up with, and we didn't have a mentor, honestly.
Right.
And I mean, today now I tell the people who approach me that find the right mentor, man. If even if I'm not the right guy for you, please get to the next one, because Somebody who has built the product is the right person for you. Only somebody who is just matlab, getting on stage and giving gyan,
Mm-hmm.
move forward. Please move forward. Right. And I was given the wrong advice to quit the job by an investor who didn't eventually invest in my startup. So that was again something that you have. So you have to be in your own man if you are going to entrepreneur. That means that you have to take ownership of your life. You cannot blame anyone that this went bad because of you. You can't blame it. I mean, that door closes. If you are somebody who can accept, okay, this was my fault and learn from it, then
Mm-hmm.
this is the journey for you. Otherwise, get a job. A lot of people are there that you can blame, but in entrepreneurship, no.
So with so many things happening,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this case of startup bullying also, wherein you were asked to give away 40% of your stake
Mm-hmm.
for 10 lakh.
Yeah.
I'm sure the valuation in your mind would be far bigger compared to what they were thinking.
Yeah. I mean, see, uh, at that time, yes, it was far bigger, but I also have to factor in the point that I was pre-revenue.
Right.
The At that time I didn't understand that. Honestly, now I have a better understanding of those things. I would say still it was not the first of all, it was not startup bullying. I mean, it was like taking advantage of our situation. They were
That's what bullies do. I mean,
yeah,
in
but
a
I mean, they were
way.
not forcing us. We were going to them.
Yeah, I
Because
get
I've
that.
seen startup bullying. I'm telling you, I'm seeing it nowadays. What's happening? Because I mean, there are the certain live cases that I'm dealing with right now. It is
Mm-hmm.
happening, but that was not it. So I mean, that time was pre-revenue, but the point was that 10 lakh rupees was not enough for us to run for 6 months, and we were not sure on that thing. If
Okay.
we would have offered more money, we were not playing the evaluation game properly. Actually, not
Mm-hmm.
exactly. We were more like we need the money to complete the product, run some tests, and see whether we can upscale the. Because that time we were printing it, it was a hard exoskeleton.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to go to soft exoskeleton so that you can move with your body and all. So that thing also we had to consider. So basically, it was a runway thing. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, startup bullying. If it was for my last startup where I took an exit. I mean, that was where I took an exit. I was not a bully, but I know what was happening, so I was successful there.
So tell us more about that, because this startup bullying,
Yeah.
I mean, I keep on hearing stories about this every now and then, that someone wanted to buy my company for such a low
Mm-hmm.
price and these kind of things.
Yeah.
And I feel that this is more like taking advantage of someone's situation.
Yes.
So staying motivated is again important, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of entrepreneurs don't know how to stay motivated. So what kept you going despite of all these
Okay.
things?
So first, I'll answer the last question first.
Mm-hmm.
What kept me going was one thing that I realized that I was unemployable. I was not listening to any seniors. Okay, that was a personality defect that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I had like enough school and college was enough for me. Germany, I was very comfortable because you don't have to go to college.
Right.
Okay, you can study, you can pass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't want to be the sitting in the room for present sir attendance that thing. So those terms I appeared for interviews, but I by the end of those interviews I was like, no, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not able to do that anymore. Here I am able to work because my CEO has given me enough freedom. I talked to him like he has given us. So it's also his trust that we are able to perform and take decisions, and also his ability to give us the freedom to think on ourselves, right? So that was the reason. Motivation, I would say, see, one of the concepts that I was working on that time was like a small system on chip. If
Mm-hmm.
you're I was always I always ride bikes. So if you get into a crash, somebody from your family should be informed. Simple
Mm-hmm.
concept, right? Now we are at a age that our kids will be going out in the on the road in some time. What if something happens to them? Don't we want to know that?
Right.
Right? That is one thing that kept me going on the social side. That yes, I'm living here. Things can be improved. I have the technical skill set, and I can develop technology, and I'll find somebody to scale it. So that
Mm-hmm.
was the motivation for me to actually work on these things.
Okay.
And I mean, I recently realized that I do not know what quitting is. I mean, people always say, "Won't you quit? Why don't you quit?" And what is it? I don't know. Like because I was always like, "Okay, I have to do this, do this, do this," but also you have family that you take responsibility for. So that is also one thing. But it's not bragging, it's just a simple statement that I've realized I don't know what to quit, when to quit. I'll just take a nap and get back to work when what
Mhm.
else will you do?
True.
Yeah, that is, I think, was simple, nothing very complicated.
So tell me more about the 23 startups
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you curated and you supported.
Yeah.
And what was it about and how did it start and how was your journey?
Okay, so I have a list. I don't remember everything on the top of my head. So I
Okay.
also have some cue cards, I mean, that I can look up to. But
Okay.
I'm not, first of all, I'm not very good at remembering things. But all of this, one thing was common. So there is one United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Hmm.
Now people are talking about it a lot. All schools are doing competition. College
Right.
are interested in that. When 2016, people were laughing about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, 2030 is a deadline. Why do you want to work on it now and all that? So one thing, curation was that, does it have a social angle? Is
Hmm.
it making my life or somebody's life better? That was one thing. Second thing is it scalable? Can I sell it to 10,000 people or 1 lakh people? Because we have to understand one thing, when I'm working on social impact, investors interest is pretty low,
Right.
right? So you have to work on numbers. So numbers are only going to come with scale. So these are some of the factors that I always factored in, that whether this particular startup can scale, and if it is scaling, is it like in a direction that is going to impact this SDG goals? So that was a simple metric I had.
Hmm.
The major problem was mostly, again, coming back to personality, I would say that I was not gelling with a lot of people.
Hmm.
That was one issue. I was not a very headstrong person that, no, this is the only way it has to go. But if you feel like that, you weren't putting in. So let's say there was a company which was, what was his name? Cow Cafe was one of my fourth or fifth startup.
Okay.
Okay, so that I was held, and there were four people in that. And we were, so I was writing algorithms based on some, so two of them were doctors from Ayurvedic doctors, and they had the whole procedure and how they diagnose people. So I was just writing algorithm for them, and revenue models, that how, because they
Mm-hmm.
were like 5 6 years elders to me, so they had their own set ways of working. And fourth person was a marketing guy. So me and one marketing guy were putting in a lot of time, but those doctors were putting the 5 7% of the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you want to integrate that into your own system, you pay us a fee, and we could do your work, a story ends. But if you want to partner with you and you don't show up, then it's not the right sign to work with. So
Right.
that is where I stopped many of the projects. Because if your friend or your partner is not sharing even 10,000 rupees with you in black and white, they're not going to share $10 million with you. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty clear. So some of the curation has to be done on teammates also. That's why the startups that come to me now, I advise them to go black and white. Write down some conditions. You can change it. Write it in the document that you can change it over a year after you will rethink over it. Whatever vesting period, include that.
Mm-hmm.
But make them sign something. If they are reluctant on that, pretty sure they are not going to be with you for a longer period of time.
So why do you think people normally do this apart from greed? Like,
Yeah, that is a personality question, not a start. I mean, it comes down to something more deep. I don't think it is not a very quantifiable. I'm not the right person to quantify that actually.
mm-hmm.
But this is what I've seen in my journey. So as I told you, that guy with the Athletes Fight Solutions, the friend of mine who's still in touch, he's still in touch with me.
Mm-hmm.
Is still wants to work. It's just that he just wants to know a particular sector. He does not interested in any of the sectors that comes across. It's like, if you're working in sports, I'm with you. So that is something I think you should ask somebody who works on the societal sector, sociology maybe.
So the reason why I'm asking you this is
Hmm.
because 23 startups,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
it calls for a lot of interaction with different types of people
Yeah.
and understanding different personality types. And so
Okay.
for
So
me, the reason I'll also
yeah, sure.
clarify why I'm asking this question because what I realize over time is
Hmm.
that everything depends on people management.
Yeah.
Whatever business you do,
Hmm.
whatever product you design,
Hmm.
if you can't understand the consumer psychology or the customer psychology, then that product is going to be a waste of time.
That's outside the company.
That's outside the
Customers
company.
come outside the company, but
Right.
inside the company there is a people management, that, as you
Mm-hmm.
said. But people management comes when you have a team, but you have co-founders or people
Okay.
that share equal equities. collaborators, then it does not, it should not factor in. I
It
mean,
should not factor in. Okay.
people. So my idea was that if I'm starting a business with you, right, you
Mm-hmm.
have an idea, I can bring in my skill set, you can bring in your skill set.
Mm-hmm.
You are an individual responsible for your company, I'm responsible for my company, and we are
Mm-hmm.
responsible for this particular project. You will actually put in the time,
Right.
right? That is the assumption I started with.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow people, I don't think they are even serious about many things.
Or
They
maybe
just
they
want to go
felt
and watch
that,
Splits Villa, maybe.
or yeah, I mean, this happens with a lot of people because
Yeah,
people become dependent
yeah,
on someone else, and
yeah.
they normally end up thinking, यार ये कर लेगा,
Mm-hmm.
ठीक है, हो जाएगा काम, कोई टेंशन नहीं है, and that's when. So, do you feel that whenever a person starts a business,
Mm-hmm.
over a period of time, they lose interest in the business, or is that, I mean, is that something that happens quite often? Or
See,
at what stage does it happen if it happens?
See, I am not such a successful businessman to answer that, because as you, I can give you some my own perspective, but I'm not the right candidate for this, because as you see now I'm working with for a company where I'm
Mhm,
able to do what I want to do,
mhm,
right? So business, see, it's a very grueling journey, right? I mean, everybody is fighting for the piece of market that they can sell to. The
mhm.
business comes down to that, right? So that is something, again, I am not the right person for that,
Okay.
but I think your passion is one thing, and if you have a mentor, and see, there is one thing, okay, we are a developing country, because I've worked
Mhm,
mostly in India. Only my one startup was in Germany, that's all, and that also we Indians both were there. And
mhm,
so we are a developing country. We are fighting to come out of one social strata to the next social strata. If we leave the upper class out, every class is fighting to just get to the next strata, right? In that, the appetite risk is very high when you're trying something new, but there are still bills to be paid for your family,
right.
right? I mean, I can't just ignore those things that, okay, my electricity bill is not filled, my health bill is not, I've not paid those, but I'm still passionate about it. So I
Mhm,
was able to do, because I was doing some consultation, some tuitions and all, I was actually managing those somehow. And my family is like, my mom is a teacher, so
mhm,
she was also, we didn't even come from a very, we have a very simple lifestyle also to manage, so that was manageable for us. That's why I couldn't do this. But
mhm.
if somebody is, let's say, coming from a lower middle class going to the upper middle class, they're going to that fight, their expenses they have to manage, right? And that's why if they get a job where they're secure, where the social strata is maintained, and there's a
Mhm.
possibility of getting better, then I think they opt for that. Business is very grueling, man. You have been doing it. It's not a very easy thing. It's
It's
a
not an easy
24.
thing.
People think that they will get time, but it's a 24/7 thing.
It is. It
It's
is.
like that is why it's called your baby, man. Like you spend all the time with that. So that is something which is more important, I guess.
So your expertise has mainly been and still is in product design
Yeah,
and development.
yeah.
So, so what according to you
Hmm.
are the three main characters
Hmm.
or main points to consider when designing a product? What factors should one focus on?
Okay. So earlier, my point was like a few years back, it was you build a good working product,
Mm-hmm.
and that should work in the market. So that is good when you have X amount, the good money to experiment. Now, let's say you have a limited budget. The best approach in that case is like first do the market study.
Mm-hmm.
What you are building, is it required? That's number one. It is applicable for every industry, not only hardware industry.
Right.
My focus is hardware, but mostly any industry that is the case. After that, there's a feasibility study that what you want to build, can it be built in that kind of cost?
Mm-hmm.
What happens basically, what happened with me also, when I started building an exoskeleton, it had 10 features. Every feature has a cost, right? When you focus on two or three features of that okay, this is my core USP is,
Mm-hmm.
then you focus all your money on that, it comes out good. If it works well, you add more features when you go in the market.
Right.
So first is user study. Second is feasibility, what you're building at that cost, is it possible? And third is repairability. Is
Mhm.
it like that person can use it again if it's something goes wrong, it is a throwaway product, or you can actually replace it, reuse it? Because when you're a startup entering into the market, depend your dependability on the company, your trust on the customer has to be built. It is only built when you provide service.
Mhm.
Right, so these three factors are good for a hardware. Somebody is starting up a hardware journey, so these three factors they should consider, I
So
believe.
when so one of the factors you mentioned, it's an amazing thing
Mm-hmm.
that these three factors are actually the core factors that someone should consider.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the feasibility,
Mm-hmm.
most of the hardware manufacturer companies in the world,
Mm-hmm.
they, I mean, this is something I read in an
Okay.
article, that even Apple or all the major hardware companies,
Mm-hmm.
they are designing products which comes with timed obsolescence. Like after some time the product goes obsolete
Okay.
and you end up buying a new product.
So that's a good marketing campaign that they have, I would believe. Say I okay, so what I'm talking is my perspective. Okay, I'm not
Hmm.
talking from for
No, the
everybody in
reason
hard.
I'm asking you
Yeah.
this question is, I'm so sorry to cut you over
No,
here.
no, I'm sorry to cut you.
No, no.
Sorry.
The reason I'm asking this question is
Yeah.
because wherein you as an entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
are thinking about making a product long lasting,
Mm-hmm.
and which should see the havocs of time, or everything, और प्रलय आ जाए कुछ भी हो जाए
Mm-hmm.
वो प्रोडक्ट चलता रहे.
Yeah.
ठीक है. On the other hand, most of the manufacturing companies are making products which should die after some time so that
Got
they
it.
can resell their products.
Yeah.
So how is, I mean, which one is a better business model from
Mm-hmm.
profitability point of view?
Okay.
And what do you think about this? I mean,
So
it's an
I'll give you
open-ended
my take
question.
on it. So that also has come from ESGs, like
Hmm.
this environmental social governance kind of
Right.
thing. And yes, I mean that is a very quick sales you can do if your product. So for example, if I'm using a lot of components are there in my vehicle, it's a Japanese vehicle, it's working fine. But
Hmm.
if you similarly pick something from here, I should not take names, but let's say some other companies that you take and they break, they can resell it again, they make money off
Hmm.
it. That is like what most of the companies are doing in many sectors, right? As a startup, even when those companies started, they started with the same thought
Hmm.
that my product should last long. Until or unless it's a one-time use product, if it is something that I'm going to use every day, it should last long, right? So profitability comes when the startup becomes a MSME, get listed, and then they start the cost cutting and the
Hmm.
how to take it to masses, right? How to make common grounds for, like, reduce the cost of the products for them. So they do, instead of making 10,000 products, reduce the quality, make 1 lakh products, they can resell again. So that
Hmm.
is, I mean, it's not a, I don't like the business model. I'm just talking from my point of view. But that ESGs that have come in, they have some good governance policies, and according to them, these companies are changing. Even some companies are going green. They
Hmm.
are not, they are shifting from carbons to reusable energies and all. So there was a time which when our ACs were not long lasting, our
Hmm.
fridges were not long lasting, but now it has been mandated in Europe and US that you have to make it that way, but otherwise you'll use a lot of raw materials, lot of energy, and we are on a crisis actually globally. If you
Yeah,
consumption of material, if you see, so these ESGs I think are going to control that somewhat, and people are going to find alternate business models. That's what I believe. But again,
that's
it's just me, man. I'm not talking about a group, just me who is thinking
no,
like
I
that.
agree. And we are just talking about different opinions
Yeah,
and perspectives.
thank you.
And these are mostly thought-provoking perspectives
Hmm.
wherein we can actually identify what the future is going to be like and
Wow.
how things can change.
Yeah.
Because no one talks about these things, no
Hmm.
one thinks about these things. And once we start talking, that's when people will start thinking about these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even. So okay, there are in India especially, there are certain sector which are social impact startups, and they are
Hmm.
working very hard on it, right? And they also accept the fact that we are not going to be a billion-dollar company.
Right.
We are okay with what we are making, and it suits them. What I've seen, these people, no, like in my journey, these people are mostly 30 plus.
Okay.
So that 20 to 30 years, no, that person is, whether a man or a woman, they are trying to proof. They are trying to go out, get it done,
Mm-hmm.
and they will try everything in their hands. And it should be like that. I mean, that's the point, that there's an uphill that you have to go. That's the point where you get out of college. The world is
Mm-hmm.
yours to conquer and all. And you should have that mindset. Even if you have to plant a tree, you have to make an effort to do that. And so
Right.
that's if you have to make $1 billion company, you will put in that effort. But people also come through a self journey, I would say, that okay, it satisfies me whether
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy here or not. Before this I was in Goa, but I was not happy. Like my office was just like 10 minutes from the beach,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, no man, something is not right here. So that my self journey, to that I came here. I'm pretty happy here. I'm pretty working very well, and I'm okay with that. So that people, the section that is working after 30, they are going to make it. They have accepted that our products are going to sell like these. This is how we have to stick to naturals and organics, and we don't have to exploit the people that they're working with. I've met that kind of people also. And it is not a startup like in what we call have you raised money, who's your VC, what's your valuation. They don't talk about these. They talk about simple economics, like our forefathers started businesses.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they talk about it. So there is a shift. It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
happening. And I mean, I don't know how big of a dent it will create, but those people, I think they don't even want other people to recognize them. They are doing
Mm-hmm.
their stuff and they're okay with that. They're
They're
happy
pretty
with that.
satisfied
They're
with what they're
satisfied with
doing.
it, what they're doing. And it's not like only sustainable materials. They are developing softwares based out of, like, there is a tier 2 city back in Goa, like, I don't remember the net name, and he is working for a company based out of Poland. He's
Okay.
happy. Like, okay, I want this here. I'm okay. I don't have to get into that rush. I was happy to meet that person. Like, wow, great.
That's great. So when it comes to the integration of artificial intelligence
Yeah.
in product design,
Hmm.
so is there something happening in product design related to artificial intelligence?
Yeah. I mean, it is so, it is actually helping, I would say, that people to come up with better designs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do better tests. You can design in a way that, see, we are limited by our experiences,
Right.
right? AI learns from the experience of a lot of people, so they can design better stuff. They are the artists who can utilize AI for their own work. I think they're doing pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate that actually, because see, we have to come up with new materials, new kind of lighter structures, airy structure. We can't always be dependent on ACs all the time. We have to have those breathable materials that we can do, that we can actually use. There are new medicines which are being formed. It's not related to art, but AI is actually helping a lot in these areas. It is making tough in their own sector who is creating it,
Mm-hmm.
but other sectors are actually helping.
So from a designing point of view, do you
Hmm.
think AI can replace the traditional designers that we have? I mean,
Hmm.
let's address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I mean, again, uh, it can replace, but I want to stick to the point that it should not replace. You should have a person who can not validate, I would say, but feel it. That okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's going into people's hand. How will it feel? How will it work? So we can give an n number of permutations and combinations to AI model. It will develop according to that. That will not change. That will only help. But
Mm-hmm.
I still believe there should be a person that who can look into it, who can feel it, who can then relate it to the problems that were being told to them. So it adds to the productivity. I mean, it can replace it. If I was a designer, if I owned a design studio, I would use these tools, but I would also have people who can actually work. Because see, you have to talk to people so that the ideas can come out. They can you know put it on boards, brainstorm it, think about the product life cycle, think about who is going to affect all these things. Okay, after you have thought all that, you can give your menial task to a AI.
Mm-hmm.
It should be your slave. Okay, he can do it. It should not command your life. That's what I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is one question which I asked in my previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this prompt which I found on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
wherein you can upload your picture
Mm-hmm.
on the chat GPT.
Mm-hmm.
It checks your skin tone
Mm-hmm.
and it suggests what color suits you in
Mm-hmm.
summer, what color suits you in winter.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sure this is one of the skill that fashion designers have to learn,
Mm-hmm.
because when they are actually preparing for the fashion week or something, they have to
Mm-hmm.
suggest the right clothes to the right
Okay.
models.
Okay.
So I asked this question to a professor who teaches fashion design,
Okay.
senior professor, that do you think that students will find it easy to check chat GPT
Mm-hmm.
for answers and would not spend time in learning the skill? And how is it going to translate in design?
Mm-hmm.
Like, will it be easier for designers to skip certain skills
Mm-hmm.
which are necessary just because chat GPT is helping them with that?
Okay. So I have a very pretty simple answer to that. If
Mm-hmm.
it's easy, somebody will replace you. And if you're an artist and you're not going at all, you're not digging deep, your art is just superficial. It will be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take on that. And there's simple apps, you can make it. I mean, you will take 3 months to make it. If you're not from a coding background
Mm-hmm.
and you have to integrate everything together, that app can be just knocked off of the market pretty soon. So artists, if they do not dig deep, and art does not come from them, then it's a knockoff. So
And it's just a prompt.
it's just no, it's just a prompt. I mean that can. So there is, so actually I good that you brought that up. Last month, me and my wife attended a fashion show, and there was out of the 18-20 segments, there were two segments that were on I don't cyberpunk designs and all. They are
Mm-hmm.
very straight, very fair, right? But somebody had thought of it, that okay, this is what I want to display on the
Mm-hmm.
stage in front of 100 people. You cannot always depend on AI to do that. You have to have that confidence, walk the ramp with them, talk to people. Otherwise, you'll be knocked off from the business. I mean,
Right.
what is there to support you? If their business partner is coming at you, if another business is coming to take over you, you are not going to ask AI what to do. You have to take a stand.
True.
So it's a good aid. It's like, so in schools we had that geometry box, right? Compass and
Mm-hmm.
all these, and you had use it like that. I mean,
As a
ult-
tool, as a
as a
simple
tool,
tool.
yes. If you let it take it over, if you will allow it to take it over, then it will. Why it won't? I mean, already we are seeing that the malpractices of AI, and there's a big body that is trying out AI. That what is the maximum limit they should work on? At some point of them, they at point of it, which was that. I'm sorry, I'm not good at remembering names, but I think it was. But I don't remember which company it was from. But they refused to shut itself down. The AI that also happened. They had
Okay.
to shut it down in manual mode. When the a prompt was given to them to shut itself down, it said no. So
I think it was Microsoft that AI
could be
went on
like
Twitter.
I'm not good at names. Sorry.
I think this is something I read an article about, that
Recently, yeah, it happened recently.
Microsoft created an AI, and
Hmm.
they that AI was on Twitter, and all of a sudden it started posting random things.
It's doing that. Yeah, it's
It
doing
has
that.
been happening, and I
Yeah.
feel that we have been.
See, we cannot stop it. AI is, people are saying AI will come. If somebody's still thinking that AI will come, they're wrong. It's here. It's
Mhm.
helping us out also. It helps me in my work. It helps you in your work. You leverage it, but one thing, see, it's a bit controversial of what I'm saying. I mean, from what I've said till now, it will challenge people to upskill themselves.
True.
That is what I believe. The other part that I feel bad about is like I still don't have an answer to that. See, there are, again, if you go back to social stratas, right? There
Mhm.
is a man or a woman who is trying to uplift their family, and they are in IT, they have IT skills. It's very tough for them to even upskill themselves, right? That is the point where AI will affect more, what I believe,
Mhm.
at the bottom of the pyramid, at lower income jobs. That is something which I'm worried about, that those things will be overcome by AI. But if you are in a thinking job, if you are in a building job, or like what we do at, if you're in a hardware prototyping job, that is somewhat secure. But that is going to affect the bottom of the pyramid. It's what I believe.
True.
And it's scary because those people, how are you going to integrate them in the society now? Then
Mhm.
the universal basic income, I don't know whether when it will be implemented in India, how it will be implemented, will be tough. You will need a big budget and all that. But on the other hand, if you don't have job for those people, it's scary and it's not good for society. So
True.
that is what scares me. But at upper level, yeah, it's helpful.
I think this topic is getting very serious.
Yeah.
Let's move to a little lighter topic.
Sure, sure. Sorry.
So, talking about sustainable goals,
Yeah.
how do you think AI can help us in driving those goals and
Hmm.
like from manufacturing point of view?
Manufacturing point of view and sustainable development goals. So there is a particular section goal under SDG 9, that is industry innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where AI. So what I mean by SDG goals and like how do I want to achieve it in a industry, right, or in manufacturing industry, is to how to pollute less. That is one goal that we are doing through renewable energies, and we're doing through optimized um, chains, the production cycles. And carbon crediting is one thing that we're using
Mm-hmm.
to track how much we are polluting and can we reduce it.
Right.
That is one thing. Other thing, like I just had a use case. I can't tell you the companies that gave us a use case. So they are they have a container. They're shipping something in it. They want to use AI to use the same container to ship more items in that.
Okay. Like
The
rearranging the items in the
rearranging
container.
or even redesigning the item so
Okay.
that if you're burning, let's say, thousand not thousand, let's say 10 liters of diesel in
Mm-hmm.
transporting that, can in 10 liters of diesel we can include more items and send more items in the same freight.
Oh.
So that is the kind of development that can AI can help, right? So it's useful there also. It's also useful in how to use less material in construction. It's all also useful in do I actually. So right now I have a 3DP lab in T-Works, which is completely IoT oriented. So
Mm-hmm.
if there is a job which, for example, has to be performed here, my lab in charge doesn't have to travel. He can just log in from his home, use the IoT, and work on it. And AI helps him to get better designs and give him updates on that. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something which you're using that to even small blocks. If you reduce the carbon emissions, it saves up a lot. That are on the lower side. Higher side, precision manufacturing, so that AI is going to play a lot of good role. It is playing a good role. Also detecting defects so that
Mm-hmm.
wrong products do not go into the market. We can have better materials. We can research on better materials to build products with.
Mm-hmm.
Renewable energies, as I already mentioned you, that AI can also help us at what is the best time to operate. If we really want to go like full on, it can actually help us save a lot of energy and material that ultimately results in helping the environment. So
Mm-hmm.
that is how where I think it can help. And there are a lot of plenty of startups that are working in that area.
Actually, I feel that AI has not been explored in the right way, and people are normally just using it to create documents and,
Hmm.
uh, creating animated images and stuff. But there is a lot of scope that is still
Hmm.
untapped when it comes to
See, it
the
is that okay. Again, my personal opinion,
yeah.
that is very bad. I would say why. I mean, first of all, yes, there is one segment that you talked about. There is other segment which is actually using it, because in medicine it is used
Mm-hmm.
like it's now a doctor should know about data. It's very common, and AI helps him to segregate the data. And it is requirement. I also love it because in my own that I'm a mechanical engineer. I used AI to understand, okay, if I run more than 1.5 kilometers today,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have an injury. I can go to that point of
Okay.
understanding human body using AI. I'm coming from a mechanical background, so
Mm-hmm.
it helps. What you talked about, so that Ghibli art thing was right. So the point is, everything is happening at a data center. The data center is consuming a lot of energy.
Right.
That is producing a lot of heat and lot of like in electricity is needed to power that. So
Right.
that I don't think is the right approach. I mean, it is good that you use it,
Okay.
but like Ghibli art just came out and even I used it 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
But that computation is taking at some data center, right? So that requires some. I mean, OpenAI raised a lot of money based on that Ghibli art because they said we need more servers to put up. Do you want to use AI for that? Or do
Mm-hmm.
you want to use AI for people who are at the bottom of the pyramid so that they can have a better life? So it's our choice, I think, where we use. I mean, it's an old saying, right? If you have a knife, what you do with it, it's up to you. So I think it's our choice how we use it.
What do you think is the future of AI and robotics, since you are from robotics
Yeah.
background, because we have all seen Terminator. And
We are a long way from that actually. So there is a slide. So I give this. So
I'm
we
sorry, we
sorry.
are a long way from that. That means, are we on that path? Like, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I mean, you have see. We are seeing live examples when AI is not right, when they are not ready to accept our commands. It's
Hmm.
happening. We are seeing that. We have to manually turn off that sandbox in which they're operating, right? So that is already happening, right? There's also an integration. The boss, again, I don't want to take name, but there are certain four-legged robots that you have seen that are working.
I was about to say the
Yeah.
name.
So I just stopped. So that, I mean, that is working, right?
Hmm.
So it will not take much, or it will not take an unethical hacker to make them do these things, right? That might happen, like, but we are a long way from that. It's not happening because, see, there is one more thing which has happened in the last decade. The bipedal walking of a robot was not that common. A lot of
Hmm.
people were trying it, but this the computing power of chips increased, batteries improved, AI algorithms got better. So
Hmm.
we quickly achieved the bipedal movement in the last 4 5 years. It's there. We are seeing that. So I mean, I don't want to say that we are on that path of the Terminator happening,
Hmm.
but there will be fully autonomous robot that will be deployed. I mean, I don't see that not happening. And yeah, that is there. But again, it will depend on the people who are using it.
So, how do you look at the manufacturing business
Hmm. It's
with
going to
robots,
increase.
and AI?
It's good. I mean, anybody or any startup who wants to start in robotics,
Hmm.
collaborative robots is a good field which is used in manufacturing, and also which is used in surgeries and medical equipments, medical surgeries basically. So they are good. I mean, they are going to boom. And for example, exoskeletons now, like 10 years after I've shut down that company, 8 years after I've shut down the company, I've just completed a startup, raised some money for that.
Hmm.
So that thing is like it's happening, and the people who want to get into robotics, pretty good. They can prototype at a very all the maker spaces that are available in India now, and that's a very phenomenal movement. I'll tell you.
Hmm.
I mean, if you see after 2013, there was a change in Companies Act, and the ways the 2% CSR fund has to be invested in good cause.
Right.
So very good minds came up with the idea that why not to upskill the labs that are in existing in Indian ecosystem.
Hmm.
That gave that act as a catalyst in the hardware ecosystem in India. Small changes, but that changes have become so big that now you see that there are space tech companies that are coming out of India. I
Hmm.
have right now a startup that is building a rocket engine at my facility.
Wow.
I mean, that was not possible. 10 years before, I was not finding a 3D printer that could print a hand for me.
Hmm.
Now we have 40 printers at in one lab that, okay, come use it, go, that's it. So it is happening. Manufacturing will take place. We have to think of better energy sources for those, so that we also, because we also have to maintain the environment, right? We're living in this environment. We can't just depend on fossil fuels.
Hmm.
Work is happening. So this hydrogen fuel cell is picking up. Some good research institutes in India are working on it to power these kind of systems. And I think if it goes hand in hand, we have a bright future for manufacturing for sure, and robotics for sure, definitely.
So, tell me more about T-Works. What exactly is T-Works, and how did
So,
it start, and how did you end up in T-Works?
so I ended up just like I had a word with the CEO, and we both were like, okay, it has the potential to do something big. So
Hmm.
that was our basic common line. And my only condition of joining T-Works was that I'm only going to report to my CEO, nobody else. So that
Hmm.
was my only condition. Because as I told you, that I have a problem with authority, but this guy is
Okay.
very cool, very chill. So we are able to work together. So T-Works is like, it's India's largest prototyping center,
Hmm.
right? And manufacturing knowledge hub. What I mean by that, see, we have 12 shops that are integrated to each other. We have metal shop, we have ceramics, we have wood shops, We have electronics. We have a PC manufacturing that is about to be initiated, commenced.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have electronics testing lab. We have textile lab. And there are drone lab is also there. So we all have these labs and they work. So we have project managers who
Mm-hmm.
understand, okay, one to make a prototype, 3 4 labs have to be used, and that is how we reduce your cost and time to make a product, a
Right.
prototype. So that is what T-Works initial stages is. We are, on the other hand, we are also doing development for big companies. Like, again, can't take names, but there are
Mm-hmm.
certain companies which are launching their own laptops in the Indian market. New company which is launching a laptop, and we made test beds for them, right? And they are using that and to test their laptops right now. We have worked with some defense companies also, some aerospace
Mm-hmm.
companies also. So our development part of the product is pretty high, because what happens, one of the big 500, like one of the top automotive manufacturers, the two-wheeler auto manufacturers in India, they have a program in their that they run in their company, which is to improve entrepreneurship. But the problem is they are not able to give. So if the person is on the line, I'm not assembly line also, but even an engineer is working from their industry, from their
Mm-hmm.
factory, he doesn't have time on the new product that has been selected by their particular company. So they are approaching us to work with them, work with those employees to finish those products so that they can go and test in the market.
Okay.
So you can say, and we also don't work with any idea that comes in, okay? It has some feasibility. So there are different technology readiness levels. If it is TRL 5 and above, that it's like it's tested, you have a proof of concept, you have tested in an environment, and now
Mm-hmm.
it is ready to go for further development. That is where we play a very beautiful role. Before that, if somebody comes, we generally send them to an incubator. We work with them on their idea. We develop a product life cycle with them, that this is how your product should look like at this point of time. For example, there's a guy, he's still in third year. He's working on air taxi.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the resources right now. Okay. Now, after 2 months of rigorous, what are some tasks I gave to him,
Mm-hmm.
after 2 months of rigorous work exercises, he has come to realize he'll start with a drone and use it as a stepping stone for the taxi.
Okay.
Now he has a whole product life cycle in his head, like in his mind on paper, and now he's approaching to different incubators. He will get incubated somewhere, develop a proof of concept, and after that, T-Works will come in and make
Mm-hmm.
it market ready.
Okay.
So that is where we.
So which sectors from manufacturing point of view do you feel will be should we look out for in next 10 years? I'm asking this question from students' perspective.
Hmm.
Like, what course should they pick up,
Okay.
and what segments, what sectors should they get employed into in next 10 years?
See, again, I would like to answer it in two steps.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, your basics have to be good. If you do not know basic physics, there's no point of me telling you go start a drone company, right? So you have to work on your basics. You have to believe that this is going to become something.
Right.
Today, if I have to understand a concept, I'm not dependent on the other person. I
Mm-hmm.
may be dependent on some knowledge which I don't have. But those kids have to be very thorough with the subjects that they are working with, they are studying, right? On the other side, robotics, definitely different kinds of robotics, right? Not only industrial, but
Mm-hmm.
robotics will enter your houses, it will enter security guards, it will enter as a cleaning robots, that scavengers right now that we're using, it will be replaced by robots, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe a lot of lives will be saved. So robotics linkages is one thing. Other than that, different kind of materials that we can work with, different kind of composites that we can work with, is this something that is good in manufacturing that can come up. Renewable energy, always. If you can manufacture some of like upcoming solar panels, because their efficiency has gone up from 16% to 54% in the last
Right.
decade, right? So it's going to improve. Those are the 3 4 sectors. And also energy in the in terms of transportation, logistics,
Mm-hmm.
these areas, if you can manage something, if you can affect your the supply chains and logistics, that's also a good sector. But it changes, man.
It changes.
We don't know what is very much required tomorrow. For example, COVID was a catalyst, and it many things came up in that point of time. So,
Right.
but yeah, be good with basics. That is why theory. I
Mm-hmm.
work with that. I hope it works for other people also.
So talking about, I mean, you're writing a book you
Yeah.
just, I mean, I came to know.
Yeah.
So what exactly the book is about? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I'll give you a brief answer just like my book. It's just 65 pages. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very practical go-to action books for anybody who's starting a startup. And that is my crux of my own journey of 6, 7 years of
Mm-hmm.
multiple failures and one successful exit. So that is covered in that. So what is it like? So it basically, I have considered a person who has limited resources and they have to build a product. So what's the best way to go about it?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're building a hardware product, break it down to the minimal pieces that you can break it down to. Focus on something that you and your, if you have a teammate, it's good. You should have a teammate because you don't know everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even if you don't have it, it's okay. Start, somebody will join, okay, and do the paperwork, as I said. So work on something that your team can build. On day one, do not talk about the thing, okay, we'll hire a third person to do this. If you're
Mm-hmm.
doing that, your business is going to definitely is going to fail, right? So that books actually takes you a journey from that idea that you have, how to validate that,
Mm-hmm.
how can you build it for cheap, how can you get into the market, validate it, save your equity for a time that you are, until you are making some revenue.
Mm-hmm.
My advice is that don't go out for investment, because you will lose out a lot of your chunk of the company. Survive, beg, borrow, steal, whatever, save your
Mm-hmm.
company. And once your product market fit is achieved, it is the point where you have recurring requests for your product and people are paying for your product. Then you are at the right spot to talk to people for investments.
Okay.
Right. So there's a whole journey to it. You can, and I think it will be posted on LinkedIn. It will be up next month. I'm just waiting for some. I'm very lazy in that actually because I have to sit for it and I'm not able to do it, but it's almost done. Only some few changes are left. It will be up next month. So you can find it on my LinkedIn page.
So from mechanical engineer to robotics to biomechanics to being an entrepreneur
Yeah.
to being an accelerator to handling incubations
Mm-hmm.
to being an author, how has your journey been so far, and what do you look forward to in next
Mm-hmm.
10 to 15 years of your life?
So I've realized that I do not know a lot, right? And there are still a lot of things that I have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
What I've learned, I would like to share it with my peers. I do share it with my peers. And the journey has been tough, I would say, because there were a lot of failures, right? And I will not sit back and say, no, no, ye hota, hota. No, it could have been avoided.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain, and you have to see what your personality is. Like, are you suited for, like, are suited for teamwork? Can you listen to people?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there is something which I still can't do is like casual people. I still can't do that. I don't know like how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would say, it was tough. It was a tough journey. Now it's taking a shape. Now I'm out of the woods, I can say, with God's grace. And what I'm learning, I'm happy to share. And also see what I believe. If I have a friend and he's also successful, I am also successful, I have a better circle. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
believe in. So what whoever I'm working with, if I can add value to them, I love to do that, because now I have one more powerful friend that's with me. That's how I believe in.
So
And
double
that's
the
I
power.
huh
Double the
double the
power.
power. Yeah, I mean that it keeps on growing. And that's I want to do whatever I have to still learn a lot, and whatever I learn, I like to share. So that is where I think my journey will be. And I think I'm pretty young to answer that question, that what my journey would be like. I'm still exploring like you. So yeah, that's all.
Perfect.
Cool.
So any message that you want to give out to the students and the future entrepreneurs?
See, the time is tough, right? IT, I'm not a big believer of IT right now, and I'm from mechanical ground, so
Mm-hmm.
like from that moment on, I was not in IT favor IT, but still it's facing tough competition from AI. So you have to become independent. There will be change in how the companies also operate.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a lot of people on contracts, not on permanent jobs. So you have to become valuable in the skill set that you can develop.
True.
Don't try to copy each other. It's good to get inspired. Don't copy. If it doesn't suit you, drop it. Pick
Mm-hmm.
something that suits you. You will excel in that. And uh, You will only get paid when you contribute to the society, until unless you're a scamster, right? So do that work hard on yourself, and then you can, I think you can do it. But the time is tough. You have to
Right.
realize that we are going through a shift. It's like a new industrial revolution that we are going through, and there will be a lot of backlashes. We are in a very unpredictable stage where people are getting fired. Even top management people are getting fired. It's very tough to stay motivated also. So you have to find what you're good at, and you will get paid for that. That's what I believe.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Sandhu, for
Thank you,
joining
Pratik.
us.
Thank you, Pratik, for having me here.